You would ask a question, why is Israel hated? And why is it that Hamas, if you like, and the Palestine people have got no intentions of accepting any conditions from Israel? Well, it is actually deep in their DNA. It goes right back for thousands of years. And I'm just going to give you an overview. You need to go down the page under this video to get the detail as to why the Jews, in fact, are absolutely hated by the Palestinian people and Hamas. Now, this is an overview, right? Now, you'll have to sort this out yourself. I'm only going to read out the overview statement. Abraham had a wife, Sarai, in the end called Sarah, had a wife, Isaac, the chosen line. Abraham also had an Egyptian concubine, if you like, Hagar, or another wife, if you like, called Ishmael. She was an Egyptian. Sarai had no intentions of letting Ishmael inherit anything from Abraham, so Sarah tossed Hagar and Ishmael out. But God said, all right, seeing you came from Abraham, I'm going to make you a great multitude. So that's exactly what happened. The Egyptian people, the Arab people, are you with me, become a great nation, which they are now. Now, in this situation, you imagine how much the hated line, if you like, Hagar with Ishmael would have hated the chosen line, which is Abraham. So let's go to the next one. Now, Isaac had a wife, Rebekah, and Rebekah had Esau and Jacob. Esau came out, they were twins. Esau came out first, and Jacob came the second. Now, Esau, in fact, sold his birthright to Jacob because he was out in the field one day, and he was hungry, and he was going to die, and he said to Jacob, look, I'll sell my birthright. Oh, well, Jacob actually said to Esau, give me your birthright and I'll give you some food. So Esau sold his birthright. And having said that, Jacob and Rebekah, if you like, deceived Isaac, and so Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob. Now when Esau found out that's what happened, Esau was pretty unhappy, believe me. So mad he decided that when Isaac died, he was going to kill Jacob. So Jacob actually left for 20 years, went back to Laban, back to his other family. Anyway, once again you can imagine how much Esau line would have hated Jacob, because Jacob became the chosen line again. Now, God, in fact, changed Jacob's name to Israel. That's something you imagine now. Esau tricked Jacob. Jacob tricked Esau. Imagine how mad Esau is, and his people, if you like. So you imagine, and with Ishmael then tossed out, the Arab people, imagine how hatred they would be. You can see the a fermenting problem when all this is spoken over the hundreds of thousands of years. Anyway, so that's the foundation, are you with me, for where the hatred came from against Hamas, the Arab people, Palestinians against Israel, a beginning. Now Jacob's family went to Egypt, 400 years, and then Moses delivered the Israelites out of Egypt. Now when the Jews were delivered, God actually said to the Jews, I have made you a nation, Israel, I've brought you to be, but you have to obey my voice. And God said, if you obey my voice, you will be a blessing to all the other nations around. Wonderful, isn't it? But if you do not obey my voice, then you actually will be like dirt. You'll be a curse. You'll be curds. You'll be nothing. You'll just be a non-event. People will hate you if you disobey God. Now the Jews most of the time did not obey God at all. And that's why the Jews, if you like, in Israel, they had their promised land, which they got, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, and then they were tossed out of their country by God because he would not obey God. So they lost their country. Now the Jews did not have a country again until 1947. And that's over 2,000 years ago when the Jews in fact lost their country because they disobeyed God. But in 1947 the Jews had nowhere to go, and through a compassionate way the United Nations gave the Jews Israel. Now needless to say, when that was forced, that was around Jerusalem, when the United Nations gave the Jews this country, needless to say the Arabs were pretty unhappy, weren't they? They actually went to war to stop it. But the Arabs they actually lost the war, because you can imagine that the West, America and all the other countries were helping them. So that's what happened to the Jews. Now you can imagine why the Jews are actually hated, because there is a foundation there which shows the hatred could have been there, put there, and it is there, and it still is today. But read the information down further and you'll know. So that's the situation regarding why the Jews are hated. And I don't know what you can do. I think the only way things can be sorted out is really either but I don't think Israel can really stop. I think they really have to keep fighting and sort out the problem so that the rockets don't come. And I think if it means that Israel should take over Gaza, well, I think that's what should happen. And once the rockets are stopped and when things are put in order, then maybe they can then let things go a little bit more and find a way that the Palestinians can live together with Israel. But I think something needs to be done. And it's very unfair to let Israel to put up with the rockets landing in their country. Well, it shouldn't be. Imagine if that happened in America. Boy, oh boy, that wouldn't last long, would they? America would be over and fix it up instantly. The same as that happened when they bombed those 1911, when the two twin towers were bombed down. Imagine how quick the Americans really came to sort things out. But anyway, it has to be sorted out. But you can definitely see why the Jews are hated. But the trouble is, at the moment, the Jews are being made the enemy. That's what I don't like. The Jews are actually made the enemy. Like the United Nations said, it's got to stop instantly, it's got to stop. And Hamas are saying, it's got to stop, it's got to stop. Isn't that something? Now I think I read somewhere else, the French Foreign Minister said, these massacres can never be justified. They're almost as though that Israel's at fault. But really, I don't think Israel's at fault. Because the Jews, before they go into an area, they actually give people a warning. Like today was Thursday, they gave a few days notice for Sunday when they're going to come in and get the army in, which the Jews have been doing all along. They've been saying, all right, look, we're going to come to your area, leave, because we're now going to clean out the tunnels and we're going to get rid of the terrorists. But a lot of people are staying, and because they're there, they're crying. Well, I don't think you can do anything about it. I think the Jews have got to be allowed to sort out the problem once and for all. Anyway, if Israel was not strong enough, they'd be wiped out today, wouldn't they? You know that. You know that. Alright, that's all I'm going to say. I've got to read this. I've actually read this out so I wouldn't make a mistake, but I don't think I'll read any more of that. See that photo there, these photos? That's actually the Iron Dome photos of that. I got that on image to say that Iron Dome. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It saved the Jews from having a lot of casualties in the urban area, isn't it? Because the Hamas people, even though they're crying, the Jews are massacring people, yet the Hamas people themselves are using people as a shield. Basically, they're not trying to get rid of the their citizens, people out of the road, they're actually using the people so they can hide and get away from the Jews, aren't they? And then once again they're sending the rockets, and how are the rockets going? They're just sending the rockets. And they're trying to get this urban area because they're trying to hurt people wherever they can hurt. The only difference at the moment is that the Jews target all their information. Anyway, having said that, I'm not going to say any more. I am now going to say goodbye. That's actually 10 minutes. You wouldn't think it possible, is it, that things are going so fast. Anyway, the Jews are not in fault. I don't think so. I think the problem needs to be sorted out. And if need be, an outside party needs to come in to bring peace. The Jews are willing to accept peace, but all they want is the rockets to stop. They want the tunnels to stop, which is fair enough, I think. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Catch 'em. Good heavens above, I just fell over then.